Have you ever done the work, but feel you don't have the title? Yeah, I was running things long before I had the title to prove it. I remember being hired at the lowest entry point in my organization under a director who, frankly, wasn't really doing much. I was managing the work, running the meetings, solving the problems, but he had the title. I didn't. And that didn't happen just once. As I moved up, I kept finding myself doing the job before I was ever recognized for it. Sound familiar? Many high achieving women over 50 have led projects, managed teams, turned around departments, organized major initiatives, but never got the official recognition. You've been the one people turn to when things need to get done, but somehow your business card doesn't reflect half of what you actually do. You've been leading for decades, but somehow when it's time for promotions or recognition, suddenly you're invisible. They come to you when things are falling apart, but they don't see you as the leader. And here's why that matters, especially now. If you're thinking about a career transition, a pivot into a new industry, or stepping into something different or bigger, you need to know how to translate your experience into language that opens doors that people can understand. Because here's the truth: the world often looks at titles, but your resume may not show the full picture, because your real qualification is your lived leadership, your lived experiences. Today, I'm going to show you how to name it, claim it, and communicate it with the confidence it deserves. Let me tell you something. The school janitor knew I was a leader before I did. I grew up in a small town on the Jersey Shore girl. The entire neighborhood was on my case, watching me, expecting great things from me. Whether it was the woman who owned the corner store or the deacon in the church, somebody was always reminding me of my potential. I grew up in this caring adult community. I had no title, just responsibility, just the expectation that I would show up and lead and be successful. That experience, looking back, taught me something really crucial. Leadership isn't about the label, it's about the results and what you do. My midlife women, 50s, 55, 56, 58, 62, your experience has been creating real impact all along. The problem isn't that you haven't been leading. The problem is that you haven't been capturing and describing that leadership in a way that decision makers understand. So let's fix that right now. Okay? Think about where and when you've actually led, not what your title said you should lead, but where you stepped up and created results. Maybe you coordinated the office move that everyone said was impossible. I don't want you to say about your experience that I helped with the move. Here's how I want you to describe that leadership. I managed a complex office move for X number of employees. Let's say you're going to count them, let's say it was 50 of them, and managed a complex office move for 200 employees. I coordinated 5 different vendors, kept everything on schedule, and delivered the project on time and under budget with zero disruption to daily operations. You see the difference between saying that and saying, I helped with the office move? Same experience, okay. But now you're emphasizing and talking about project management, vendor coordination, budget management, and team leadership. And these are skills that work in any industry. And in fact, it's the truth of what you've done. Or here's another thing, maybe you stepped up when your manager left and you kept things, the people, everybody, the programs running smoothly. Don't minimize that by saying, I helped out when my boss was gone. Here's the leadership language I want you to use. I took on an interim leadership for a team of whatever the number is, let's say it's 12, during a critical transition. The boss left, so it was critical, right? Maintained all productivity levels, managed client relationships, and mentored junior staff while we recruited the permanent replacement. You see the difference between, I did some things while the boss was gone. No, what you're doing now is talking about things that are real. Interim leadership, that's what you did. Team management, client relations, mentoring, and even succession planning. Listen here. Every situation where you've solved a problem, managed people, or delivered results is a leadership experience, even in the home with your family. For us as women, the key is to learn to describe it in terms of outcomes, not just activities. The second thing I want you to do, use result language that shows impact. Instead of, I was involved in raising money or involved in the fundraising committee, you would say, I developed and executed a fundraising strategy that engaged 200 community members in the process and exceeded our goal by 45%, generating an additional $12,000 for the organization. Okay? So what you're doing is you're describing the results, what you made happen as a result of what you did. Instead of saying, I organized company events, you're going to talk about how you managed end-to-end event planning for corporate functions. And then you'll talk about the number of attendees. Let's say 500 people came, and that you coordinated all of the logistics. You managed those vendor relationships. You consistently delivered experiences that strengthen client relationships. Whatever it is, it's just not, I planned an event. Okay? We're taking everyday experiences and translating them into business language that any industry can understand. And this isn't about inflating your experience. This is about accurately representing the complexity and value of what you've actually accomplished. And this is a mind shift, sisters, I'm talking about here, because you got to believe in the value you created in what you did, right? Now, the third thing I want you to do And this leads right into what I've been talking about, and that is lead from your experience, and you want to make it relevant. Everything you've navigated in your career and life has created a wisdom that's incredibly valuable, but you have to connect that wisdom to the needs and expectations of where you want to go next. So if you've mentored colleagues through workplace changes, or you managed difficult personalities, or you helped resolve conflicts, that's not just being helpful. That's change management. Here's the language. That's emotional intelligence. That's team development skills. Okay? And what you want to say is that you have a proven track record. And sisters out there, if you in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, I know that's for sure that you've got a proven track record. So I want you to, when you're looking for a career change, when you want to move up in your job, when you're looking for something different that you want to move to, I have a proven track record in. And then it might be, for me, it was proven track record in transformation and helping individuals and organizations through transition periods. I use active listening and strategic problem solving skills I've developed over the years to identify core challenges and really develop sustainable solutions. So that's the kind of language I used, and I want you to use. The key is that you want to connect your experience to the language and needs of whatever target industry you want to go to, or whatever your next is. You want to make sure that you connect it. But why is this so important for us here in midlife? Women look at job postings and see 10 requirements. And if we only meet 8, we don't apply. Men see the same 10 requirements, meet 5, and submit their application that day anyway. Okay? So we've been trained to think we need permission. We tend to question ourselves. You've been qualified all along. You just haven't been speaking the language that proves it. When you master this skill, everything changes. You stop looking at opportunities and asking, am I good enough? And you start asking, well, how can I show them what I bring? Right now, I want you to think of 3 situations where you stepped up, you solved a problem, you delivered results. Don't worry about whether they sound impressive enough. Just think of 3 times when people counted on you and you came through. And for each situation, ask yourself, what was the challenge or the problem? And what specific actions did you take? What was the result? What skills did you use that could transfer to other situations? And then I want you to practice describing each situation using results language. Numbers matter, timeframes matter, the scope of your responsibility matters, everything we've talked about. And remember, this isn't about bragging. This is about accurately representing your value. And you don't need the permission to show up like the leader you already are. And if you're over 50, again, you've probably led in more ways than you give yourself credit for. Your impact isn't up for debate. Titles can be earned, given, or taken away, but your leadership, your experience, that's yours to claim. You've been leading all along. Now it's time to own it boldly and clearly. Remember, again, you are not starting over